oh, this thing can only take 10-minute videos, so it stopped. I was trying to keep an eye on the time, but I just kind of fumbling through my words. So it was the Psalms, and how the Psalms are prophetic, and one of the proofs he gave that the Psalms were prophetic was that if you count forward to 1948, people said the 48th Psalm is, it's about Israel. Go get this Bible, actually, so I don't butcher this. And how Psalms is the 19th book, and the 48th Psalm, they say, is about 1948. But, if they go, oh, that's not right, whatever, it's the 48th chapter, that doesn't necessarily mean, but if you count backwards the books, which there's 66 books in the Bible, if you count backwards, if you count forward, Psalms is the 19th book. And if you count backwards, it's the 48th book, so it's 1948. So that would be the second proof that he, Soldiers for Christ, offered for that, being 1948, actually being 1948 when Israel got its land back and all of that. So, also, I've heard people talk, and I'm not sure if this is true, I haven't searched it out very much, if people have talked about it, they think Joseph and Egypt would be a type of the Bible, where there are 7 years of feast and then 7 years of famine, and the 7 years of famine would be the Antichrist. So I'm not exactly sure about that. But one of the other things he talked about was how Dinah was a type of the end time church, and how Dinah went out and she started mixing with the locals and people, and then she got she, as in like a type where she started mixing with the world, and the world essentially violated her, and took advantage of her. In terms of a little bit of like my testimony, I came into the understanding that God was real when I was 25. I'm 29 now, but I didn't live it out at all. I was just, I'm gonna do me. I'm not gonna change any of this. This is just who I am, kind of a thing, and that did not work at all. I could tell you from personal experience, it doesn't work. And one of the biggest things that was shown to me, and one of the questions I had about, like why things are the way they are, it's like, oh, Satan rules the world, but like, what does that mean? And I think it's Luke 16, it's Lazarus, that kind of helped me understand, Jesus says, you were bought with a price. What does that really mean? It means everyone is going to hell, and you're predestined to hell if you don't accept Jesus. Not because, you have to obey him, or you have to, which you do, but not because he's some dictatorial person. It's just that you are, essentially owned by the world until you give yourself to Jesus Christ. And so in Luke, I think, 16, the story about Lazarus kind of helped me understand that you're what it meant to be bought for a price. It's like, it's not that God hates you. It's not that God is not going to accept unless you're, whatever negative connotation you want to place on that. It's that someone else is in charge, which is Satan, of the world, and so you default go there unless you accept Jesus Christ. So it's not about, control. It's about, really freedom. And it's hard to explain that to somebody until they've, given themselves to Jesus Christ and had the burdens and the yoke of the world taken off of them. When you start having those lifted from you, I was addicted. I don't really want to go into it right now. Pornography, I guess. So, and it's something I struggled with for a long time. And I'm not going to go into a lot of depth, but I couldn't stop. I tried to stop from the time like I was young. 16, 17, it was like addiction, not, I look at a couple, no, like have to, and like kind of digging. I don't think there's a person alive that hasn't had an addiction, or maybe, I don't know, but so Jesus, that digging feeling, that feeling like you can't not do this feeling, and you don't really understand until you've had that lifted off of you what it means, freedom. Actual freedom from, everything, from your burdens. What else did I want to say? Repent, baptize, forgive, ask forgiveness. Being judgmental is something that also has been pressed on me. And I really feel like, it's like you don't understand that was one of the things. Thank you, God. One of the things was, essentially it was explained to me like your sin, like I was justifying my sin. I was saying it's fine, it's only this, it's only that, but you don't know what it is that you're doing. It's like God lights your path, and people that don't get that, again, it's hard to explain, but the analogy that was given to me is like the butterfly effect. Butterfly flaps its wing, and then there's an earthquake on the other side of the world, or another place in the world. So it's like you don't have a full comprehension of what you're feeding into, and it's a spiritual thing. When it's a spiritual thing, and how much, when God says to become one, it's literally, people have had, friends that, they go, what happened to this person? When they're dating someone that's a little, out there, and you're literally tying yourself and your soul to that person. And it's a lesser extent with like pornography, but it's still the same extent. There is a tying to that, and you don't really understand that until, again, like you've been lifted out from it, or you see people intermesh themselves that way. Another thing's been being pressed on me: be still and know that I am the Lord, from Psalm 46. Because something like you don't know what you're doing. I've heard so many stories of people, they were 1 minute from an accident, and you don't have any idea, what's going on, and what's going to happen. So, you should really just put your trust in God and trust that it'll work out. I'm gonna put all the links into this and the 3 videos I talked about of the rapture and or post rapture. I hope you got something.